at Alabama A&M and head coach James Spady. His team fell by 1 point to Southern University this past weekend. We also have a bye week here in Week 8. Good morning, Coach Spady. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you. Fine.
Coach, if you could open it up with a statement and give us a review of what happened with Southern University and give us a preview of what your plans are for your bye week.
Well, we took one on the chin this weekend. Boy, that was a tough loss. I felt like we played well enough to win the game and just didn't win it. That's one of the challenges, I guess, when you take over a new team. You got to figure out what it is that you need to do to challenge these guys so they understand how to win games as well as how not to lose them. And so anyway, I don't think I've ever been involved in a game where we ran 100 offensive plays and lost the game. So it was a little bit of a one of those deals where you're going to have to scratch your head and figure out how to get that fixed. So we get a bye week here at a perfect time. We're starting to get a little beat up, and just little nagging things. We don't have what I think are debilitating injuries, but we have a bunch of guys really nagged with things here and there. And so bye week comes at a perfect time. We get a chance to get healed up, take care of some academic work, work on some things that we really want to put into effect in the second half of the season. And so we're eager to get going.
All right, the floor is now open for Alabama A&M head coach James Spady. Please remember to use the command *6 to unmute your phones.
Coach Spady, Aurelia, Washington here. You've gotten a chance to at least look at Alabama State when they played on TV on Thursday night. What have you, what type of scheme are you going to do at least against Alabama State?
I'm gonna probably keep that to myself, but I will tell you that we watch Alabama State, and they're a really good football team, and the challenge is for us to do what we talk about all the time, and that is to take care of Alabama A&M, make sure that we are playing fundamental football, that we run, block, tackle, et cetera, just to do the right things so that we can stay away from the kind of situations that kept us from winning that game Saturday, so that we can take care of the football, so that we can convert opportunities to score, so that we can get off the field on third down on defense and be sound in the kicking game. Those are the things that we got to work on. And with all due respect to Alabama State, it really is about Alabama A&M trying to make sure that we're playing good football going into the game.
Would you go on record as saying that Jameson probably played his best game so far? 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions?
I'd feel comfortable going on record saying that was absolutely the best football he has ever played until that hamstring injury. And I'll bet you, had he not gone, well, I'm not going to go there, but I was really proud of the effort that he made prior to the hamstring injury. He was really playing well. That's the way we'd like to see him play for the rest of the season, the second half of the season.
And we're talking things over with James Spady, head coach at Alabama A&M, taking questions.
Coach, you mentioned that Jameson has a hamstring injury. Even though you all have an off week, will he be back for the game for Saturday, or are you just going by day by day?
Day by day. I have no idea the severity of it. He's supposed to go to the doctor today. What I know as of right now is that it was a hamstring pull is what they called it. Again, the severity of that is going to be determined when he sees the doctor today. So it's a day-by-day thing, and there's no way I could tell you what he's going to look like 2 weeks from now.
Your running game has tremendously improved, especially with Harvey Harris. What have you been talking about Harvey Harris, for his game?
Fundamentals. Understand where the point of attack is, understand where your help comes from. Hang on to the football, Harvey. Those are the things that we talk about. I feel confident that if Harvey has the tools, and so does Brandon Eldermeyer, and so does Byron Brower if when we get him back. Those guys all have the tools to be exciting runners in our offensive scheme. It's just a matter of paying attention to fundamentals, doing all the little things right. One of our standards of performance is, to flawlessly make, the simple plays, and that's what we talk about on a daily basis.
We still have about 5 minutes left in the segment with James Spady, head football coach at Alabama A&M.
Coach Spady, Michael Burns. Just wondering, what are the key areas that you're looking for improvement in going for the rest of this season? Are there certain things that you just got to improve upon in order to complete the season and make it successful?
Yes, Mike. What we want to do is, honestly, physically get in position to make a run in the second half of the season. And what I mean by that is we got to heal up injuries. We got to get stronger in the weight room. And we're going to spend some time over the bye week really committing ourselves in the weight room, get some guys, a little bit stronger. And I know you say, well, it's only 2 weeks, but that 2 weeks helps. And so, it's going to be real important that we are strong in the second half of the season, and, we're going to commit ourselves to that. That's one of our major goals during the bye week is to get healthy and get stronger for a second half run.
Coach, talk about the play from Southern's freshman quarterback in Austin Howard. Your thoughts on him?
You know what? I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, not that I didn't think that the kid had talent. I knew he did. But, boy, he really managed the game well. He made some timely plays. He was a guy that was really effective with his feet. And that's important, or at least in my philosophy, in my thought process, that's important for a quarterback to be able to be as effective with his feet as he is with his arm. And that was one of our Achilles heel on Saturday was quarterback play from Southern. He really did a fantastic job, and I commend those coaches for having those guys ready to play on the road. And it was a beautiful day for football, but they were on the road in a hostile crowd, and they played really well.
Coach, talk a little bit about the improvement of your offensive line since the beginning of the season.
It's so funny that you asked. We were talking about this just a few minutes ago. This is only the second game that we've played the same offensive line, in consecutive weeks. This is only the second time we've done that this season. And, we feel good about that group of guys, but, that's the one unit on the field that if they don't play together, if they don't mesh well together, you're going to have problems. And being a former offensive lineman, being a former offensive line coach, that's the one area that I want to see us do well at. And they have improved over the season, but if that unit doesn't work together enough, you're going to have some cohesion problems. You're going to have some inability to get back to the line of scrimmage and protect the quarterback and all those things. And so it was good to see those guys play well. Didn't play well enough. You can't be satisfied with that effort. We got to get better.
And the play of Monterius Smith, 8 catches, 131 yards, also got a touchdown. He continues to play well for you at wideout, Coach.
Yeah, I like that guy. I mean, I wish we had another year or two out of him, but he's a senior, and I want to see him have success, again in the second half of the season so that, if he never plays football again, he'll be able to remember the things that he accomplished while he was here. He's a great player for us, and we're so glad to have him. Glad to see him have success, and I just want to find ways to get him the football because he is a bright spot on our football team.
Do you have any more questions for James Spady? Coach, thank you very much for joining us this week. We look forward to talking with you on next Monday.
Thank you so much.
That's James Spady, head football coach at Alabama A&M. Again, his team fell to Southern University 35-34. They have a bye week here in Week 8. And now we will move on to Alabama State University. And we will talk things over with Alabama State head coach Reggie Barlow, whose team fell at Prairie View. They also have a bye week here in Week 8. Good morning, Coach Barlow. Are you with us?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. It's good to talk about your battle at Prairie View and also talk about your plans for your bye week.
Yeah, it was. We knew it would be a tough game, traveling to Prairie View. It was their homecoming, the last homecoming that's going to be played there in that stadium. They had a great crowd and really a lot of support out there, and we just didn't have enough energy. I mean, this is SWAC play, and although expectations have been high for our team, and it's going to continue to be high. Every Saturday, it's going to be a huge challenge. All these teams are well coached, and they got explosive playmakers and guys that play the game the right way. So we just couldn't find our way. You know, we were bad on third down from an offensive standpoint. Defensively, we're still not tackling well. And all of that is hurting us. But still like our team. I commend our guys for we started off real slow in the first half and fought back in the second half and competed with pride and genuine enthusiasm the way you like for your team to do. So I am proud of them for that. And we're just a beat-up team. We've had a long run here. We started out with a really tough opponent, Sam Houston State, and then Tennessee State. And then the 4 games in 20 days, and it's just it's taking a toll on our young men. And we got a bunch of guys that's been fighting weary, and I commend them for that. But this week here, the bye week, it comes at a great time. We're talking about letting our guys just really heal up and rest, and get our old linemen back. And we got a couple of D tackles that's not as healthy as they need to be, and Malcolm Cyrus has had a tough run, and our guys just need a break. And I'm grateful for this bye week. We will practice, but we'll be smart with it and get our guys back and get ready for our next opponent here in a couple of weeks. But still love our team, love our guys, and excited about the second half of our season.
Our question now for Alabama State head football coach Reggie Barlow.
Coach Barlow, Michael Burns at WJAB. Can you give me a letter grade to assess the different portions of your team, offense, defense, special teams, a letter grade for their first half of the season?
Yeah, I would have to say average, a C. I guess our guys are, there have been games where it's been an A. You look back a couple of weeks ago offensively, we scored 40 points or so and did some exciting things, and defensively we only we gave up I think 6 points or so, but there's been times where the consistency has been good, but as a whole, just where we are right now, and we talked with our coaches, and we just got to go regroup and maybe simplify some things for our guys, but we're average right now, and I like I said earlier, I love our team, I love our guys. There are some tough guys, and like I said, we've had a tough run here the first half of the season, and we're looking to improve the rest of the way.
And we're talking things over with Reggie Barlow, head football coach at Alabama State, still taking questions.
Coach Barlow, Michael Burns again. I asked Coach Spady this question. What is the area that you really would like to improve in this second half of the season with your ball club?
Well, Michael, defensively, we have to tackle. I mean, tackling is a lost art. It's not just Alabama State. You can watch NFL guys, and people are missing tackles, and we have to do that, and we just have to really simplify some things on defense to allow our guys to play fast without having to think. Offensively, you know, the third down conversion, the more times you keep it on third down, you're going to decrease the opportunities that the other team has. So we got to do a better job there. And, you know, special teams, we got a bunch of guys that enjoy playing the game. They actually have performed pretty decent. But it's just about ongoing skill development, really, in all areas. And that's what we're looking forward to doing the rest of the way.
Coach, you talked quite a bit about your running back with Malcolm Cyrus. Talk about Jonte Hay there at Prairie View. Pretty tough running back as well, small guy.
Yeah, he's exciting. Of course, when we were scouting those guys and I watched him against Jackson State, I think, man, he had some explosive runs. Just a really fun guy to watch. And he hit it on us a couple of times Saturday. Some explosive runs, and I mean, we're blessed, man. This conference has some guys that are really running the ball well. Of course, with Malcolm, Alcorn with Ragsdale and those guys. I mean, we got some really exciting running backs in this conference, and you know, just as a fan of football, I mean, obviously you hate to lose and you hate for them to have that type of success against you, but it's exciting to see these young men get off, as I would say, in a game. So he's a good one.
Coach Barlow, how you doing? This is Mike Prince with the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Yes, sir. I wanted to get your feedback on the offensive line play of the Panthers on Saturday. They seem to be that one of the better performances that I've witnessed in a long time. How would you assess the offensive line play for the Panthers?
You know, I thought those guys played well. You know, obviously, when you watch film and you see them, we thought that they were really well coached. We thought that they played good as a unit, and that's what you got to have as O-line. I mean, you know, a group of guys that are playing as one. That's the one position where everybody has to be on the same accord, and I thought they did a great job of when we stunt and twist, they passed it off. You know, when we brought edge pressure, you know, they were coached up to, from your nose to the sideline. That's your guy for the tackles, and I thought they did a really good job, and they did play well. And your assessments are very true.
Coach Barlow, this is Donald Hunt, Philadelphia Tribune. How you doing, man?
Better than I deserve. Thank you.
What do you think of what's the difference in your opinion between a guy like Isaiah Crowell and Malcolm, man? Two really good runners that can get out in the open field and give you a change of pace.
Yeah, I mean Malcolm is a really good running back. I mean he's he can run for power, you know, inside the tackles, and he's a slasher when he needs to be. He understands protections, and he also catches the ball well. And just to complete that, but the thing that separates him from Isaiah, I mean, Malcolm is right at 5'9", 178, 80 pounds, and Isaiah, he's 5'10", 5'11". 5'11", and he's 220 pounds, and he can do all of that stuff that I just said that Malcolm can do. And you're seeing it on that level up there. I mean, Isaiah was the number one running back in the nation, and I mean, with all due respect, Malcolm is a great football player, and he's having a great year here, and he's had a great career in high school and in college. But that's the thing that separates those guys that go on and play in the NFL and the ones that don't. I mean, Isaiah is a grown man, and being able to do what he can do, running in between the tackles, he can slash it, he'll make you miss in space. he runs for power, he catches the ball, and he's 5'11", 220 pounds. And those are the ones that, the NFL takes.
Okay.
Coach, this is Mike Prince again. One more question about Daniel Duhart had a pretty solid performance, 336 and 225 yards passing. You had to be pleased with the way he managed the game for you on Saturday.
Yeah, Mike, Daniel is a really solid quarterback. He really is. There are things that he's doing really well for us. And we run all that zone read stuff, and the quarterback has to make a lot of decisions in the running game, and then of course reading pass coverages in the passing game. But he's done some good things for us. He did some good things in that game. I think he don't realize that he can run the ball better than what he thinks in his head. He's a straight line guy that can run. And we got to get him to trust himself a little bit more in the running game when he's able to read some of that stuff. And, he can run. And I think that added another dimension to our team if we can get him to trust himself a little bit in the running game. And he's a solid passer. I've always thought he can complete for a 60% passing rate because I trust him. I think he has a good arm, and he reads defense as well. Right now he's not at that, but hopefully we'll continue to improve, and he'll reach that by the end of the season.
Thank you very much for joining us, Coach. We're out of time. We'll look forward to talking with you on next Monday. Thanks a lot, Coach. That's Reggie Barlow, head coach at Alabama State University. His team fell to Prairie View this past weekend, and there's a bye week here in Week 8. Next up on the call, we go to Jackson State University and talk things over with Harold Jackson. His team fell to Mississippi Valley State, and there is a bye week. They'll play host to Prairie View A&M at 2 p.m. this coming Saturday. Good morning, Coach Jackson. Are you with us?
I'm with you. I'm fine. Matter of fact, we just played Prairie View about 2 weeks ago. We got Southern coming up after the bye week.
Thank you, Coach. I'm sorry for the mishap. If you could talk about the battle with Jackson State and talk about what you guys got coming up this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, we went in this ball game and, we had homecoming. Homecoming is a game that you don't want to lose, and so I don't know whether the guys was up for this game too much, and we went in the ball game. They was too hyped up, and we went in a game where we jumped up on him, but the problem that we've been having is finishing a ball game. We go up and in the first half, we go up on a team, but come back in the second half, we just don't go and finish. I don't know whether we're not making the adjustments or the other team making adjustments to shut us down what we've been doing, but we just got to come and we got to improve on that. Their quarterbacks, they played two quarterbacks, and one of the quarterbacks is the brother of our quarterback, Ivy, which is Patrick Ivy. When he was in the ball game, he was like 10 for about 23, and I think he had an interception for about 71 yards. And then Peterson came in, and I think Peterson was about 8 for 12 for about 73 yards. One of their top receivers, which was Julius Stafford, and I think our defense did a pretty good job on him. He held him down, I think, with about 9 catches for about 24 yards. And the backbreakers that came at about 1 minute and 43 seconds in the ball game. We had the ball game won about 1 minute and 43 seconds in the game. Rice came up with the big catch for him. I think he's the guy that had the big day for them. He had 5 catches for about 91 yards and that winning touchdown, which broke our back, and so the score ended up 27-23. Our quarterback, Ivy, he played pretty good. Tell you what, he's going to be a good quarterback. We just got to get him a little bit more help up front to protect him. I think he was like 26 or 37 for about 293 yards and 1 touchdown. I think he ended up with about 5 sacks, so that we got to do something with that offensive line. And his target was Danny Williams, which had about 6 catches for about 112. And Jarek Moore had about 6 catches for about 78 yards and 1 touchdown. And our place kicker, I tell you what, had been doing a pretty good job for us. Ryan Diesel, he had about 3 kicks, 1 for 24, 1 for 26, and 1 for 30-yard field goals. So he's done a pretty good job there for us. We just got to give him a little bit more help on the offense and defense side of the ball.
Thank you very much. The floor is now open for Jackson State head coach Harold Jackson. Please remember to use the command *6 to unmute your phone for questions. Coach, could the bye week come at a better time for you guys right now?
I'll tell you what, it couldn't come at a better time because, like I said, we have a lot of problem with the O-line and defensive line. You know, we got to get some guys back healthy, you know, because of winning the ball game, you know, all last week. I don't even know what combination that I was going to use at offensive line, you know. So this is a good time for us to have a break, and our guys, you know, need this break to kind of rest up a little bit and, you know, kind of heal a little taste, you know. So couldn't be at a better time for Jackson State football team.
You guys lose 27-23, and you look at certain areas, you 2 of 14 on third down efficiency. You point to that area alone, and you think you probably have a better chance of winning, right, Coach?
Well, I tell you what, that's one of the areas that we really got to work on, you know, because like I said, 2 and 14, that's not a good winning combination there. We also got to work on penalties, you know, because we end up with 14 penalties for 161 yards, and Valley had 5 penalties for about 50 yards, you know, so we got to do a better job there. And so because at the time of the penalties, each penalty came with our defense coming off the field, and all of a sudden they get a penalty. So Valley offense stays on the field. You know, they keeps the ball. And that happened about 3 times where our defense coming off the field, but we get a penalty and we keep them on the field, and you can't do that. That's not winning football. And that's one of the things that I've been trying to talk to my guys about. We got to learn how to take care of the football, those kind of things that would get teams beat, and that's what we got to clean up. We got to clean up those penalties because, like I said, there's no way in the world you're going to win a football game with that many penalties.
Still talking with Harold Jackson, head coach at Jackson State University. Coach Valley appeared to really focus on getting Julian Stafford the ball, and they did. He caught the ball 9 times, but you guys were able to help hold him in check for 24 yards only.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was one of the things that we said all week. We cannot let him beat us. If anybody beat us, somebody else is going to beat us, and that's what happened, you know. And so, but the problem that we had there with that particular last pass that won the ball game for us, we got to execute the way the coaches are teaching you out there. And so what happened, the young man that was covering him just dropped him, and it was on a cover 2 man. He's supposed to stay with the guy and ran with the guy, and he just dropped him, let him go. And so unfortunate, that's the thing that beat us, you know. So we can't make mistakes like that because at a crucial time like that, you know. Here we are trying to finish a ball game, and that's the thing that we always been preaching since I've been here is finishing. We're just going to finish what they started. And so we hadn't been able to do that. So we just got to come back, and we just got to do what we have to do and try to get it taken care of, try to get it cleaned up.
Coach Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports. Talk about the plan going forward in terms of trying to keep your team focused on the rest of the season, given various, what appears to be various off-the-field distractions. You may or may not be aware there have been people who have expressed displeasure in the team's performance, and as you being the head coach, point the finger at you, in which they have indicated that they no longer want you there. How do you deal with that and at the same time focus on coaching your team with the rest of the schedule still left to play?
Well, you know what? We got 5 ball games to go, you know, and so we still in this thing. We still got a chance. All we got to do is win the next 5 games. If we win the next 5 games, we end up 8-4, and I think this team been 8-4 the last couple of years. They went to the SWAC championship. There's a lot of things can happen between now and then. All we got to do is go and win the next 5 games, and if we do that, and I think the players understand that, we got to, we got to come out and we just got to finish the job that we started. So once we do those things, capitalize on other people's mistakes, and we don't make mistakes, and that's the thing that I've been preaching the whole time I've been here. We cannot turn the ball over. We cannot have stupid penalties of what we have had. So if we clean up those areas, we'll be fine.
How do you address the criticisms of fans who have expressed displeasure in terms of how you have led this team up to this point?
Well, you know what, everybody got their opinion on what's going on. We just got to go out and do what we can do and do the thing that we can handle, what we can control. We can control this football team by going out and win. Like how, how fans are. Once you start winning, everybody jumps on the bandwagon. So when things are not looking the way they want to look, that's the nature of the beast, So we can deal with that. All thing we got to do is go out and get this thing going on the right track, and we'll be fine. And those folks out there that wants this staff out of here, and once we start winning, hey, they'll be on the bandwagon also.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us today. We'll look forward to talking with you next week.
Thank you.
Again, that's Harold Jackson, head coach at Jackson State. His team fell to Mississippi Valley State this past week, and they have a bye week here in Week 8. Next up on the call is Arkansas Pine Bluff head coach Monte Coleman. His team had a bye week, and they will face Grambling this coming weekend. Good morning, Coach Coleman. Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. Thank you very much for joining us. Could refresh your bye week and preview Grambling this coming weekend.
Well, we got back to a lot of the basics last week in our preparation for Grambling. It wasn't a big focus on Grambling. We just kind of self-scouted ourselves, got back to some of the things that we needed to do, running to the football, making sure we protect the football and things like that, just basic stuff. So we were able to get a good week of workouts in with our guys and just concentrate on UAPB for right now. We are preparing, starting today on Grambling, and we will be traveling down to Ruston to face Grambling, who is a hot football team right now that's playing extremely well. They come off another big victory this past weekend, and to the best of my knowledge, I think they're undefeated right now in the SWAC and playing good football. So it's going to be their homecoming, so we're going into hostile territory, and the thing that we've got to do is make sure that our guys are ready to go, which that's what we'll be doing as a coaching staff, making sure that when we travel down that we'll be ready to play a 60-minute football game and hopefully come out with a great win.
All right, the floor is now open for Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Coach Coleman, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Good morning, Ty.
Coach, how is, at this point, as much as you can tell us, how is Coach Jones doing, and what can you speak about in terms of his status with the team in the immediate future?
Well, his status, he's back in the office today, Ty. And, of course, it's very difficult for the ones that don't know. Coach Jones lost his baby son. I said baby son. He lost his 16-year-old son last Monday to a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And they had his homegoing service on Friday. We were able to attend, the coaches were able to attend his homegoing service of his son. And he is back in the office right now. He did break down in our staff meeting this morning, which is kind of expected. But he is ready to go, and he will be on the sidelines or up in the booth versus Grambling this weekend. So he is back in the office. It's very difficult times for him and his family. So I encourage everyone out there that knows Coach Jones or that are praying people, just pray for him and his family right now. But it is a very difficult time for him because it's still fresh, but he is moving forward in preparation for this game this weekend.
Coach, we did send our condolences to his family and in Alabama, and also extend our condolences to him once you speak to him later on for Sheridan Broadcasting.
And I will. Thank you.
Have you ever dealt with anything like this in terms of putting things in perspective? What is the difficulty as a whole in moving forward, or is it something that in terms of helping Coach Jones move forward, is the best thing to get back right back into the job?
Well, I think, and I'm not a counselor, but I think we try to move past it, and I don't mean to sound insensitive, but I think the fastest we can get past it by not bringing it up to him every day, I think that would help him out a whole lot. Coach Jones is a professional. My prayers definitely goes out with his wife, Miss Val, because she's having a real tough time. And that's the thing that's going to make it linger more as he goes home to try to console her. Of course, the pain will continue to be with him. So we're praying for his family, her specifically. He leaves his son. He did bring his wife back to Pine Bluff. His oldest son is at Alabama A&M on their football team, so he's still there in Huntsville. So, I think just the least we talk about it around him and try to move forward with football stuff to get his mind off of it would be the best ingredient. Of course, praying for him and let him know that we do support him.
As you look at Grambling, Coach, a team that, a lot of people were, writing off early in the season, and that was what it was early in the season against Lamar, University of Houston, and Bethune-Cookman. But now they run off 4 straight in the SWAC. Your assessment of what you're seeing that Coach Fobbs is doing down there, and what may be working for them?
He's got those young men playing as a team. They're playing very confident. I watched them on offense against several teams, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. They're making plays, and I think that's the biggest thing between them and past Grambling. They're not beating themselves, and Coach Fobbs is doing a great job along with his coaching staff and keeping these guys rallied around themselves and believing in themselves. And a lot of cases, that's all a team needs to do is just believe in themselves, and that's what he's got them doing right now. And they're playing at a very high level.
My last question for you, Coach. Have you been able to, over the week, with everything that was going on, look at your own offense and, try to fix some of the things that have been going on, particularly with your passing game?
Well, yeah, we did, and that's one of the things that we did last weekend. Now, of course, not last weekend, but last week, of course, we had to do it without my offensive coordinator, Coach Jones, but Coach Ray and Coach Nevins and Coach Sane, they stepped in and they had the guys moving around. Ben, the couple of games that the Alabama State game comes to mind. I didn't think Ben had a great passing game. And also the Southern game, I didn't think Ben threw the ball very well. So we just went back to basics and allowed him to take his reads and throw the football. In a lot of cases, we practiced against each other. We wasn't worried about Grambling last week, but we will be concentrating on some of the things that they do from a defensive standpoint and offensive standpoint this week. So we just went back to basics and just letting Ben just kind of calm down and get it right.
Coach, this is Michael Burns from WJAB back in Huntsville. Going back to last week, what did you talk to your team about, not necessarily about the events as they happened, but about your young men, how they handled their feelings and their emotions during that period?
Well, we talked, and all of my coaches have an open door policy. And, before we take anything in our own hands, I just encourage them to sit and talk before they act. I have a son that's a part of our football team, and as soon as I heard it, I gave him a call and brought him into my office and hugged him and just expressed to him basically what I expressed to the team. There's absolutely nothing out there that's too big that we can't talk about. As large as they may make it seem, or as much pressure they may have on themselves, we can still sit and we can talk about it. So that's basically what we conveyed to the team. And, of course, the team mourned with Coach Jones the loss of his son.
Do we have any more questions for Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff?
Coach, I.C. Morrell at the commercial. Grambling, they've used different quarterbacks from what I've seen stat-wise. This time they used one quarterback that Jonathan Williams got. How do you prepare for different quarterbacks? I'm not sure what the quarterback situation is at Grambling, but how do you prepare for that?
I see. I think it's going to be the one young man, Johnson kid, versus us. I think he's leading the team. He's not making the mistakes with the football, and I think they're going to eventually or have gotten away from the two quarterback scheme, and I think he's the reason why they're playing as good as they are on offense. He's leading them, and they're not making the mistakes right now.
All right. Thank you.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Thank you very much.
That's Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Team had a bye week this previous week, and this week they will face Grambling State. Next up on the call, we go to Grambling State University and head coach Broadrick Fobbs. His team was defeated by Alcorn State. They will host Arkansas Pine Bluff for a 2 p.m. kickoff. Good morning, Coach Fobbs. Are you with us?
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good, Coach. Thank you very much for joining us. If you could review your game with this past weekend with Alcorn State and preview Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Well, I thought we started out rather fast. Our kids and our coaches actually did a great job of getting our kids ready to play, and they were well prepared for a very, very explosive Alcorn State football team. I thought we started rather fast, and we were very aggressive early and really did a good job of moving the ball down the field offensively and also trying to stop their running attack. And I thought we did a good job of that early. I thought the momentum shifted. They ran a lot of plays, and our defense kind of got wore down. And momentum kind of shifted, in the second half, and they did an extremely good job of getting the ball down the field and brought in their other quarterback that did a great job of using his legs on us and really got them in position to put some points on the board. So even though I didn't feel we played as well as we were capable of playing, I think a lot of that credit goes to Alcorn State University because they did a good job. But I think we have to play a more complete football game. And the good thing about it is, we got an opportunity to go back to the drawing board and practice and play again this week and focus on cleaning up those mistakes and scratch where it itches, so to speak. This week, Arkansas Pine Bluff, a very, very quality football team. Coach Coleman and his staff does a great job of preparing their kids. Their record does not indicate the type of ball club that they actually have. But it's going to be a very exciting football game. They have a lot to play for. They're going to play with a lot of passion. There are distractions when it comes to homecoming. But it's up to us to make sure that our kids are focused and are mature about what's important at this particular time, and that's the football game. So it is homecoming, but we got to make sure that we're focused on doing things the right way and playing the right way because, in my opinion, there's a lot more work we have to do. There's a lot more things that we have to get better at.
Our questions now for Broadrick Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State.
Coach Fobbs, Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports. You talked about, despite being undefeated so far in conference play, that there's still some things that you need to work on with your team. Can you address some of those factors? What are they?
Well, I think we talk about around here. We always talk about playing with juice, and that's playing with passion and playing with energy. And I thought we started out, the first couple of quarters playing with energy, And I thought the tail end of the second quarter and into the meat of the middle of the game, the third quarter and the first part of the fourth quarter, I thought that we didn't play with the juice that we're capable of playing with. And that's strictly up to us. And our kids have to understand that, we have to play the game the same way, the right way all the time. And that's just something we have to go back to the drawing board on, because we practice that way. And we practice fast-paced, so we want to make sure we play that way all the time.
Talk about the fact that you prepare for a game in which is going to be homecoming, and coming off of a big win against a quality Alcorn State team. Might there be, or do you find concerned in the fact that coming off of a big win like that and facing against a still a quality opponent in UAPB, are there concerns that they may not necessarily be up to the task of playing Saturday?
Well, we don't really concern ourselves with that. We respect every opponent, and you better respect every opponent in this league, because this is a quality league with a lot of great coaches and a lot of great football players. We focus on playing the next play. We forget about what happened yesterday. We forget about what happened the previous play. We don't look at the scoreboard. Our focus is playing the next play. Good, bad, or indifferent, whatever happens, we let that go. So our kids understand that, and that's something that we focused on all year long. Even in off-season workouts, when we started our off-season in January, the focus was beating January. And then after beating January, the focus was beating February. So we just take it one opponent at a time, and we try to make sure we jump over the hurdle that's in front of us, because if you focus on the hurdles behind, or if you look at the hurdles that's ahead, you're going to stumble over the one that's right in front of you. So we got to make sure we do what we're supposed to do, execute the plan that our offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and staffs put in play, and just play as hard as we possibly can with passion and great juice.
Coach Fobbs, this is I.C. Morrell at the Pine Bluff commercial. Can you clarify for me what your quarterback situation is? Have you gone with one guy as of late?
Yeah, we've kind of settled on Jonathan Williams. He's playing rather well for us, and actually has done a great job. Like I said all along, we never thought that we had a first, second, or third string quarterback. All three of those guys were quality football players. It just so happens that someone has to go in first, second, or third, and the door was open for Jonathan, and he got in there and has done a great job, and he's a great leader. He was even a leader when he wasn't playing, because he was making sure that our guys got in the right and out of the right place. So I'm just happy for him. I'm excited for him, and we just want to continue to develop and get better.
Right. One thing, there's been a lot of talk, and rightfully so, about Darian Ragsdale, the Alcorn State running back. And I know they used a wealth of running backs in that game, but how key was it just to limit that guy? I mean, he only had like 60-something yards, which isn't bad, but I mean, he's gone off as of late as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's hard to handle, man. A guy with that kind of ability. He's very, very tough to handle. Every time he touches the ball, you hold your breath. And then when you add the dimension of the quarterback in his legs as well, it really, really puts a strain on your defense. So I'm pleased somewhat with our defense performance. There were times here or there where we jumped out of some gaps, which allowed opportunities. But also, too, a lot of that credit goes to them also, too.
Eric Dooley, I think your offensive coordinator, he was at UAPB for the last 3 years. Just talk to me in general about the impact that he's really made on the offense, and that has to be a big key of your turnaround.
Well, Coach Dooley is an exceptional man, first of all. Separate from coaching, he's just a great man. And then when you add to the fact that he's a student of the game, he works extremely hard at it. He puts in the time that's needed in order to put a good plan together. He is a heck of a football coach, and I'm just elated to have him and excited at what he's done, because our kids believe, and he's a Grambling grad, and part of it is believing, and then after believing, then that that pretty much, prompts you to do something after you believe. So I'm just excited for him and for our players, but I mean, we still got a lot of work to do, and we're not where we need to be just yet.
Coach Fobbs, how you doing? This is Mike Prince with the Open Mic Broadcast Network. I keep referring back to your earlier statement that this is not the 2013 Grambling Tigers, and you've been proving that week after week. And I can imagine the rally call that is us against the world. What's your message now to your squad as they bought into the program and the rejuvenated Grambling Tigers?
Well, we still haven't done anything. We've been fortunate, to win some football games, but we still haven't done anything. I've said from the beginning, it doesn't matter, where you're picked. You all start at the starting line at the same place. So it's just a matter of doing what you're supposed to do and be objective driven. Our deal is be objective driven. The next play, the next moment, the next day, and then you put enough good days together, then you can have a good week. And that's just the way we go about doing things. We don't try to get too far ahead of ourselves, and then we don't look back either. We just try to stay in the moment and make sure we make the most of that moment.
Thanks for joining us very much, Coach Fobbs. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Thank you.
That's Broadrick Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State. His team will host Arkansas at Pine Bluff at 2 p.m. this Saturday. Next up on the call, we go to Alcorn State, and Jay Hopson, his team, was defeated by Grambling. They will host Texas Southern this Saturday at 2 p.m. Good morning, Coach Hopson. Are you with us? Okay, we're awaiting the arrival for Alcorn State head coach Jay Hopson. And while we do so, we will visit the standings in the Southwestern Athletic Conference for football. First on the Eastern Division. We haven't gone over these in a while. Alcorn State is the leader in the East. They are 5-2 overall, 3-1 in conference play. Alabama State in second. They're 4-3 overall and 3-2 in the SWAC. Jackson State is third at 3-4, 1-3 in league play, followed by Alabama A&M at 2-5, 1-3, and Mississippi Valley is 2-5 and 1-4. In the Western Division, it is Grambling State. They are 4-3 overall and 4-0 in the SWAC. Texas Southern at 5-1 and 3-1 is second, followed by Southern University. They're 4-3 overall and 3-1 in league play. Prairie View is 2-4 and 2-3 in the conference, followed by Arkansas at Pine Bluff is fifth in the West. Do we have Coach Hopson now with us? Okay, for those of you that recently joined the call, we'll go over the scores from this past weekend. It was Southern University defeating Alabama A&M 35-34. Prairie View A&M over Alabama State 34-24. It was Grambling State 28, Alcorn State 21. Mississippi Valley State tapped Jackson State 27-23. And this Saturday slate of games will go as follows. Texas Southern will visit Alcorn State for a 2 p.m. kickoff. Arkansas Pine Bluff is at Grambling State is their homecoming. That game also kicks off at 2 p.m. Prairie View A&M is at Mississippi Valley for a 2 p.m. kickoff this as well. The bye weeks will go as follows. Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Jackson State, and Southern University all have bye weeks here in week 8. Do we have Coach Coach Jay Hopson on for Alcorn State yet? Okay. Still waiting arrival for Jay Hopson. We announced the Southwestern Athletic Conference Football Players of the Week at the beginning, so we will also revisit that. The Offensive Player of the Week goes to Southern University's Willie Quinn. 7 catches, 132 yards, and 1 touchdown. Quinn's 28-yard punt return helped set up the game-winning drive for the Jaguars. Is that Coach Fobbs? Oh, excuse me, Coach Hopson? And we're still waiting on Coach Hopson. Defensive Player of the Week, Jerome Howard, the linebacker from Prairie View A&M. The Newcomer of the Week, we had 2 co-Newcomer of the Week, Joshua Rice from Mississippi Valley State, Demond Jackson from Prairie View, and the Specialist of the Week went to Hayden McCraney of Alcorn State. And do we have Coach Hopson on yet?
Yes, I apologize, guys.
No problem. Thank you for joining us, Coach Hopson. If you could talk about the game with Grambling and preview Texas Southern.
Well, tough game for us last week. Give all credit to Grambling. They did a great job, and of course, everybody knows we lost at 28-21. Had our chances. We turned the ball over deep in our territory and had enough, missed a field goal, and they had a nice goal line stand on the 2 against us, and they did everything, to win the game, and again, give them all the credit. They deserved it. And we've got Texas Southern coming in this weekend. A very good opponent, and it's actually our homecoming, which is, they're not your traditional homecoming opponent, but it's the only Saturday in October we have at home, so that's what we have, and we got a very good football team coming into town.
Our questions now for Alcorn State head coach Jay Hopson.
Coach Hopson, Lionel Franklin of the Jaguar Show. Coach, you guys fell down pretty early to Grambling before mounting a comeback. Did you guys see something different that you didn't expect early on in that ball game?
No, I tell you what happened was they hit us on a big play early, and we fumbled inside about our 15-yard line or 10-yard line, 14-0 early. And then, we dug ourselves early, probably to the end of the first quarter, early second, into a 21-0 hole. Again, I'm proud of the kids. They kept fighting, and we gave ourselves a chance, on the last drive. I think the game ended, the time ran out. We were on about the 20-yard line going in. But, we didn't do the things, you can't turn the ball over. You can't. We had a bunch of missed executions. But, again, I think Grambling was part of that too. So, at the end of the day, they had a nice goal line stand on us, and again, we missed some opportunities with the field goal, and so those are things that that happen in football. But again, I thought they deserved to win.
And we're still taking questions for Jay Hopson, head coach at Alcorn State.
Coach Lionel Franklin again. How do you think your team is going to respond, considering they were really on top of the hill going into this game prior to this loss?
Well, we'll find out at 2 o'clock on Saturday. And that's the reality. Grambling's, again, that's what football is all about. It's about getting ready each week, and each week you got to get ready for a new opponent, and that's what it's all about. We certainly weren't ready on Saturday, and that's what happened.
Do we have any more questions for Jay Hopson, head coach at Alcorn State? Coach, you're 5-2, 3-1 overall still. What do you tell your team this week? Obviously, you don't want to let a team beat you twice. The same team beat you twice, as that cliche says. A very good team with Texas Southern this week.
I think that's a very wise saying, and that's what we have to do. We have to get ready to go. I mean, it's 50% of college football is feeling the same way we are right now, and that's just part of football. And you just have to bounce back and get ready for a good week of practice and get ready for another game. And that's what this game's all about.
one of the positive takeaways of about 295 yards rushing. You had a lot of guys at double-digit carries that contributed to that this past Saturday.
Yeah, we got a lot of that ground game going late, which we needed it a little bit earlier, in the game. So I mean, again, I thought, I thought on the whole, I think as coaches and players, we got to come out and be better this week, and that's what it's all about.
Coach Hopson, thank you very much for joining us this week. We look forward to talking with you next Monday.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
That's Jay Hopson, head coach at Alcorn State. His team will host Texas Southern for homecoming. That's this Saturday, and the game is set for 2 p.m. Next up on the call, we go to Mississippi Valley State. Rick Comegy, his team defeated Jackson State, and they will host Prairie View A&M. That kickoff also is set for 2 p.m. Good morning. Coach Comegy, are you with us?
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Good, Coach. Thanks for joining us. If you could preview the victory over Jackson and preview the Panthers of Prairie View.
Well, one thing for sure, it was a hard-fought game, and the kids played hard, and I was just glad it came down to the end. It was a game that could have went either way, and they fought hard, we fought hard trying to get it, and we thank God that it came out on our end this time, and I think it helped show our team that we can play in any arena with people. All we got to do is have the confidence and play. I'm happy for our kids and our administration and a lot of the people here in in this area, that we're able to come back with a win, and a win that we hadn't had, and from my understanding, in 19 years, and it's just good for our community, and so I'm really proud. I'm extremely happy, and I'm happy for the kids, and to be able to see them smile in the locker room, and have a lot of glee and joy. So the team we got coming up is tough team. They're good size. They run real well. They well coached. Coach is a outstanding coach down there, and always has been. He has a defensive flavor to him, and so they're always going to be tough from a defensive standpoint of view, as well as come back and try to get onto you from an offense. That good team speed, and the quarterback that can make a lot of things happen, and the wide receivers that can catch the football. So we have our hands full. It's not the normal homecoming where you have somebody come in that maybe, well, if we just play well, we can win. It's all barn burners from here on out down the road. So we just got to make sure that we're prepared and not let one game say that, okay, the season's over. We got to play throughout a season, not just for one football game, and we're working on that as we speak.
The floor is now open for Rick Comegy, head football coach at Mississippi Valley State.
Coach, I see Morrell, Pine Bluff Commercial. Coach, I want to ask you about Patrick Ivey and his play going up against his brother in that game. And just from a team standpoint, what do you think you guys have turned the corner to be able to get this win?
Well, I think, it's been a lot of hard work, and guys, staying dedicated to, what we're trying to do. We're naturally, when you're not winning, we're human, so things start going through your mind, like, is this right? Is he can do this, or is the system working? And, so you have a lot of questions, that, can it not, are we going the right way? Or, and then when you, come out with a victory, you say, well, geez, you start, well, that did work, what it didn't work last week, now it worked this week, and, you start buying into and you start understanding all we got to do is play football, and all we got to do is coach and let all that outside thinking go away, and I think that, week by week it's helped us improve in what we're doing in the morning practices, and, and kept practice alive. We changed things up in practice and constantly to not be, when they come out, it was the same old, and, when you lose, I was always told you got to change something, and so I try to keep changing it, keep it alive, keep it joyful coming out there early in the mornings, and and so maybe that hard work has paid off. I don't know. I'm not a magician at this or anything like that, but I can only do it the way I think it could be the right way. So, and hopefully last week we got one that We showed that maybe it was the right way, and now we can go on and play some football a little bit better from here and improve our football team and program and our confidence level.
Coach Razumov from the Clarion Ledger, what did you see in the second half against Jackson State that you were able to take advantage of?
Well, I thought, they brought a lot of blitz game, and so, when you have a team that's coming at you a lot of different ways, you got to spread them out. And I thought once we spread them out and we changed quarterbacks and put a quarterback in that had a little bit more speed, I felt that Ivy was doing a fantastic job, but they were bringing a lot of heat from every which way, and so I thought we had to put a little bit more foot into the game, and so we did that and kept them spread out to take some of that heat away, and and just try to play football from there.
I wanted to ask you about the last play where you guys threw to Joshua Rice. What him in particular? Usually you think that you'd go to Julian Stapp or some other experience, but to go to I want to say a redshirt freshman or so in that last draw. What kind of gave you confidence to go with him in that last play?
Well, see, we noticed that Josh Rice was coming open throughout the game, and we weren't throwing the ball to him, and so we ran a route to where we kind of stretched him and opened him up a little bit and sent Josh down the hole, and I think Quintavious Peterson did a fantastic job of stepping up in the pocket, noticing that Rice was loose again down the middle, and he darted one in there, and got us down to position to where we can score. He did a tremendous job of staying in the pocket. He does a good job of that, and he really threw a nice dart to Josh. And I heard it now that it's not 20 years ago, it was about 30 years ago that Jerry Rice, because he's Jerry Rice's nephew that caught the winning pass, over Jackson State years back. And it's amazing how karma turns around and how now has his nephew do the same thing.
Coach Lionel Franklin of the Jaguar Show. Prior to this game, a lot was made about you in particular versus your old team. And we know there's a lot of other connections outside of that, Ivy brothers in particular as well. But do you get the sense that your kids played a little harder for you to, quote, get one for the Gipper?
After the game, a lot of kids were saying that, but, I think they were playing for themselves. We built this game around, not around Rick Comegy, around about being good football players and being good athletes and going out there playing, 60 minutes of football and never looking at the clock until it's over. And, a lot of things can be said after the game, but yet and still, I think we built enough fiber in the guys to understand that all they got to do is play hard. And run was our motto going into the game, just run. And we wanted to run. We wanted to continue running no matter, run, and that was our thing going into the game, And so we left the game with the idea that we had to run to win, and you have to run. And this is the game we're running. And the more you run, the more you can win.
But, Coach, you've got to admit it must have felt good.
It did, sir. It felt extremely well. I was really happy. I was happy myself from an emotional standpoint of view because, it was a good, probably one of the biggest wins, in my career, and that I will always remember. But I think it'd be a big win for these guys for, as they move on with their lives and their families and doing the things they got to do as they move on into, growing, raising their kids and becoming uncles and grandparents. There'd be something they can cherish forever.
Coach, taking on a new program, sometimes it takes a while for the players to buy into the new coaching staff. Was this kind of the breaking point for them to have really bought into the program, or was that even something that you struggled with throughout the season with the players buying into the system and the philosophies of the new staff?
Well, as I said earlier, it's buying in is the real tough. It is, we're as coaches, we're even human to say, well, Jesus, this guy. What I'm really looking, everybody, we're all new here. I brought some guys with me, but the majority of the time the kids are new. I'm new recruiting class, young guys playing, and, you're wondering why so much that you let your mind lead to some different things that you continue wondering about it. And so, yes, you're right. It does help sew a lot of things up, those torn pants now you can wear them because you got them sewed up. You're sure that yes, this can work. Where before, well, maybe that can't work. And so a lot of the surety from a mental state, I believe, has developed, and hopefully it can carry over to make us a better football team. But we got to let go of the height of the game so that we got a fantastic football team coming in here this coming week, and and so it's got to be, we got to erase that. If they even took one step wrong, we got to be on top of it and criticize it even harder than we did a week ago. It's got to be, we got to be coaches, and make sure that we don't miss a thing that they did opposite of wrong, but yet and still give them flavor and let them know when they did right. You can't point out all the wrong and not point out the right. So, we got to do that, and we got to be good coaches, and then they got to be players. And I think they want this. They want to play, and they never quit yet, and I don't see them ever quitting now.
Hey, Rick, good morning to you. It's Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Hey, Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. And again, it's proof that when you go to a program, you do your job, and it always shows up how good of a coach you are. The thing I want to talk to you about, you just mentioned the fact that how you can't let this one win be the season. And you couple that with the fact that this weekend you have homecoming. So you have a double whammy to deal with in terms of this situation, a big win, now homecoming, but a formidable opponent. So talk about dealing with that.
Yeah, it's we just have to take off this pants and put on the blue jeans and get back to work, and we got to get out to the field, and check our crops and see which ones are growing and which one not. And a good farmer's always going to go to the field and check his crops and make sure that you got it right. So we're just we threw on our blue jeans early this morning and we're out there trying to check and see which ones are growing and which ones are not, and pluck the ones that are too ripe, that may not be part of it. So, I feel, we have to do that. We have to, just keep our level of consciousness of where we were and remember where we came from, and hope not to go backwards. And so, I'm excited. I know that they're a good team coming in here, a team that's, really on fire right now. Coach is doing a fantastic job down there, but we're here to play, and we want to play. We're ready to play, and we want to continue testing our strengths against someone else's. So, I think we're at that level now to where, we're still young, but they're growing up enough to be hungry to get into a game, and that's all I've been waiting for, to be hungry to get into a game. And so, once that's done, we can move from there.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Coach, for joining us. We're out of time. We appreciate it. We look forward to talking with you next week.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
That's Rick Comegy, head coach at Mississippi Valley State. His team defeated Jackson State. They will host Prairie View A&M at 2 p.m. this Saturday. Next up on the call, we go to Prairie View A&M and Heishma Northern. His team defeated Alabama State this past weekend for homecoming, and they will travel to Mississippi Valley again for a 2 p.m. kickoff. Good morning, Coach Northern. Are you with us?
Oh, yes, sir, I am.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could talk about your victory over Alabama State and preview Mississippi Valley State.
Well, we were fortunate enough to get off to a good start. Had a couple big plays on the offensive side of the ball. Had a 19-play drive, something that you may never see again. With the style of football that you're seeing now, but that was a good way to get the game started. Didn't play as good the third quarter. They made a run at us, and then we came back and made a few plays in the fourth quarter to sort of seal the deal. But the thing that we talked to our guys about it. If Prairie doesn't beat Prairie, we can beat anybody on our schedule. And now we go to another homecoming. I have to ride up to Mississippi Valley and get ready to play another, improving ball club. They coming off a big win. We got to deal with two quarterbacks, a good running back, good wide receiver core. So that three-headed monster that it looked like everyone has, and we have to go up there ready to play a quality football game and not beat ourselves. And if we don't do that, see where the chips fall at the end of the game.
All right, the floor is now open for Heishma Northern, head coach at Prairie View A&M.
Coach, Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine this morning.
Good. You obviously have won your second straight game. And when you look at the course of the season and with the win against Jackson State and then now with the win against Alabama State, is it safe to say that while you may have obviously wanted to have happened earlier, that your team has turned a corner?
No, and I've been asked that question a million times, sort of what have we done differently. The only thing we did change our practice schedule to where we used to practice a day, take off a day, practice a day, and then take off and practice 2 days. Well, now we don't start practice until Tuesday, and we just go straight through. We probably do a little bit more hitting in practice than we had been doing before, but the end of the day, we just talk to our guys about making each other better football players. I talk to my offensive line about making the running backs and the quarterbacks better. I talk to my receivers about making the quarterback better and making the wide receivers better the other wide receivers in our screen game by blocking for each other. So that's the biggest thing. A lot of those plays, the first couple of games that were going for 2 to 3 yards, now some of those same plays, because guys may be blocking better, the running backs may be pushing their landmarks, making our offensive line better, the defensive line is getting off the ball, getting some pressure, hitting the quarterback, getting in the backfield, creating some second and longs. Everybody is making everyone else better. It's not that, we didn't add a lot of new plays offensively or defensively. We hadn't changed personnel. It's just, like we said, guys are playing better, and they are making others around them better. That's the biggest change. Like I said, those plays that were going for 2 are now going for 12.
Floor is still open for Heishma Northern, head coach at Prairie View A&M. Coach, how rewarding was it to, win the last homecoming game in that venue at Blackshear Stadium?
Well, I think it was big. Anytime you can win a game, I don't care who you're playing against, that's big. Then having a chance to win homecoming. I wish a lot of those people that were out there tailgating actually would have bought tickets and come into the game, though. But, it was good to, get a chance to walk around and, have people – sort of say congratulations, but, at the same time, it was good for them. Their food tasted better, their drink tasted a little bit better. But, I'm just happy for our football players that they had a chance to win the game, and it's good that, that's not the last game in Blackshear, but it's good to get that win in Blackshear and sort of send it off the right way from a homecoming standpoint. So that was very important. But at the end of the day, it was another game in a conference game. So I'm more happy for our guys for that.
What can you say about the play for Jerome Howard? He's had several double-digit tackle games this season, and he was honored by the league this past weekend for his effort. Talk about that play at linebacker for you guys.
Well, he plays with passion. Not the biggest guy in the world, not the fastest guy in the world, but he loves Prairie View. He loves playing football. He's been pretty consistent for us. I think our scheme this year is a little bit is more simpler than it had been in the past, so he can play faster. So some of those plays that he may have missed in the backfield last year, he's making for us now. He does a good job of getting everyone on the same page. It's sort of like the proof is in the pudding where, the things that he's doing off the field in terms of, being a good student across campus, being respected everywhere he goes, the film study that he puts in, even bringing other guys in that play the same position, or bringing the safeties in and making sure everyone is on the same page, that helps him on Saturdays because of the work that he puts in throughout the week. But, we definitely are happy to have him, and I'm happy for him because, I know how hard it is to get one of those, SWAC Player of the Week deals, and I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his teammates because they made that happen for him. If our defensive line hadn't been playing so well, he doesn't make some of those plays that he had a chance to make. So it's a team award, and we're happy for him.
Do we have any more questions for Heishma Northern? Coach, thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to talking with you on next Monday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Heishma Northern, head football coach at Prairie A&M. Again, his team defeated Alabama State this past weekend. And they'll head to Mississippi Valley this Saturday for a 2 p.m. kickoff. Next up on the call, we go to Southern University and Dawson Odums. Southern University defeated Alabama A&M, and they will have a bye week here in Week 8. Good morning, Coach Odums. Are you with us?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, Coach. Thanks for joining us to talk about a 1-point victory over Alabama A&M and your plans for your bye week.
Well, that was a hard-fought football game. We dug ourselves a little hole there in the first half. Started the third quarter. Take my hat off Coach Spady and them had a football team. They was playing energy football there, and created a great excitement, great football game. We found ourselves down 21 points, and it's a good thing about we sort of understand the kind of players and the kind of staff that we have over here, and our guys go play to the end. We fought all the way back, made a couple stops on defense, was able to take the ball down the field on offense and punch it in for the go-ahead score. It took a lot of execution, a lot of excitement. But the passion was there. Really a tale of two halves. First half was dominated by them, and second half was dominated by us. So we're grateful to go up to Huntsville and come back with a victory.
Floor is now open for Southern University head coach Dawson Odums.
Coach Lionel Franklin of the Jaguar. How are you going, Coach?
Doing great.
Coach, what's the status on Zach Brown?
He's fine. He rode the bus back with us. A lot of the stuff that they put him on the stretcher, I know fans and everybody be watching, a lot of it's for precaution. He was talking to me when I was out there on the field. Just wanted to make sure he didn't have any injuries or anything like that. But he rode the bus back with us. He was up moving around yesterday. He's doing great. We look forward to seeing him on the practice field this week.
And, Coach, also, in the first half, Austin Howard seemed to be very awry with a lot of his throws. I mean, like 15, 20 yards off with some of those throws. But he comes out in the second half, and after that pinpoint precision deep pass to Willie Quinn, he seemed to be on point. Was there a big adjustment, anything he did differently going in the second half?
No adjustment, same routes. Just attention to detail, a lot more focus. It's just one of those deals, man. I told you, the difference was the first half looked like two different teams, from start to finish. Special teams, offense, defense. I just think the second half we was a different football team, the one we was hoping to see in the first half.
In the second half, after we scored the 2 touchdowns on the deep passing plays, the offense seemed to go into, deep ball mode as opposed to being able to grind it out like they did a little bit later on in the game. What was the necessary reason for that going, into that second half after receiving all of those turnovers?
Well, just I think we saw some matchup opportunities where we felt that we could get behind them from a receiving core, and they were playing a coverage that allowed us some one-on-one, and we did a great job of taking advantage of it. Once they started backing up, we went back to running the football.
Hey, Coach, it's Leslie. Can you talk about how you plan to balance giving the players some time to rest up and heal with also getting some work in during the open date?
I played 7 games in a row. Football team is a little beat up, a little banged up, a little tired. Much needed bye week. But we'll get our work in, and they'll get their rest. We know we got 5 games, after the bye. So we just want to make sure we got a healthy football team.
Hello. Hey, Vernon. How's it going, sir?
Could use the command *6 to mute your phone.
I'm for a golf tournament, and I apologize for my delay. I went to Mississippi and
Coach, we do apologize. Thank you very much.
Glad somebody get a chance to play some golf.
Still taking questions from Dawson Odums. Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Coach. Which areas are y'all going to focus on? I'm sure you're doing some self-scouting. What specifically do y'all hope to improve on before you get back on the field at Jackson State?
Well, we're currently meeting right now, so we haven't really got there. But we're going to try to improve our strengths and fix our weaknesses. Haven't really narrowed it down to what those are right now, but I'm quite sure we'll be a different football team coming out of the bye week.
Coach, since Sharks has been out, Austin he's played well at times. He's not played not so well at times. After the bye, if Sharks is clear, do we kind of still see the quarterback system, or are you kind of sticking it out with Howard from here on out?
Well, I think you just see how it goes. I think the young man's played well. I mean, he's won some football games for us. He had a great drive. As a freshman, took us down the field to get a win. I mean, I think you're gonna have the ups and downs when you're dealing with a true freshman at quarterback. But I think his performance is getting better every week, and that's our job as coaches, to really concentrate on his weaknesses and not put him in some of those predicaments, and also just focus on his mental aspect of being a quarterback, just really knowing when to throw the ball away, when to take chances, when not to take chances, and just really grooming him to become a complete quarterback going down the stretch.
Coach, you still think you can do that, splitting reps, you allow Sharks to play?
Well, I think it all depends on how the game is going. I think people use the two quarterback system for different reasons. Austin has been the quarterback. Shorts has been out with an injury. We don't know when he'll be back, but we welcome him once he get back. But right now, Howard is doing a great job of being the leader of this football team, and it's great to have two quarterbacks, that we think can run our football team. So if he's struggling and we need some excitement or some energy, might feel like we need to give the other guy a chance to get some reps. But Austin's done a great job. We're 4-3 going into the bye week. Got a chance to really focus on his talents and really move his football team forward, and we look forward to doing that during the bye week.
And Coach, Martin Henry started the other night, played, I think, the most he's played at linebacker this season. Can you talk about the decision to play him more and his development?
Well, he's getting better. I think, you look at it, played a little bit more the previous week. This past game he played a lot more. He's getting better. I mean, he's tackling, he's understanding, he's playing with great energy, playing with that great motor, and just getting to the football. I think he's doing a great job for us, and we just want to continue to see him grow, and he's going to play for us. I think that group has got to work a little bit in the bye week to get better, but he's doing a great job for us, and we look forward for him to continue to be successful.
Coach, that 9-play, 44-yard drive capped off by a Crockett 1-yard run. How well did Howard manage the game there at quarterback, especially considering being a freshman?
Yeah, with no timeouts, I thought he kept his composure, and that's one of the big things I think you have to have as a quarterback. Is composure. The game will give you some ups and downs, but I think on that drive he was as calm as I've seen him. He made some throws. But some players made some plays. Some receivers made some catches to take a lot of pressure off of him. So, I think overall he can say, he had a game-winning drive. That's his first one as a quarterback at Southern, and as he continues to get better, I'm quite sure he'll have many more.
I think the biggest lead was 34-14 in favor of A&M at one point. Have you had a come-from-behind victory with a margin and a gap so wide before? Head coach?
Last year we was down to PV. We were down to PV same way. They 20-point deficit. Folks leaving the stands, and I really take my hat off to the coaches, man, because one thing about our team, they play to the end. They just keep playing the next play. We created some momentum, and we were able to get out of Huntsville with a 1-point win.
Coach, how much do you think the injury to Jamason Lee affected the outcome of this ball game?
The injury to who?
Jamason Lee. quarterback for you?
Don't know. I mean, we have a rule around here, next guy up. So regardless who it is, the next guy got to be ready to play. They still had opportunities. They still moved the football. 17 completed some passes when he came in. But I'm quite sure it probably took a little edge off of him. He was playing well. He was making some good throws. And, hate to see a player go down in a football game, but we lost one of our offensive linemen. The next guy had to come in and play. And that's really how it is in this game. Guys are going to go down, but that next guy got to be ready.